Tim, I'm gonna start with you though. Like, we're just gonna go straight. Like, how was this past week for you?
Tense as hell, bro. Tense as hell. Like, I think the only way to describe it is to kind of like just go through it. So like, the thing that happened with George Floyd, heartbreaking, right? And we've seen it before a bunch of times. What was different, I feel like this time, was like the way it was caught on video and how many, just the sheer like brutality of it. Was it was 4 cops, man, 3 of them on him, one of them on his neck, like kneeling and then smirking at the camera. That alone gave me like, it enraged me doubly because first of all, why the fuck are the cops still doing that? Second of all, if I see something like that, maybe I'll record. But once it gets to the point where he's saying, I can't breathe, and the cop is still chilling on him, I can't see myself just let somebody get put out like that. Like, maybe I get shot, maybe I go to jail for fucking interfering with whatever's happening, but I just can't see somebody get put out like that. Like, that's not even fair. Like, it don't matter who they are. Like, you shouldn't be able, like, it could be civilians and some shit like that's happening. Like, I can't imagine myself seeing somebody's life leave their body like that and me sit there just recording it. So that's one. Second, fucking people go out and protest, which is what you're supposed to do, right? What people do peacefully, have been doing peacefully for literally my whole life and since the 60s, because racism just don't stop and police brutality don't stop. So people go out there and they're doing it peacefully, mind you, in the middle of a global pandemic where we're not even supposed to be doing any type of gatherings like that, but there's a statement to be made, and then we get all these other people just inciting violence, which causes the rioting and the looting, and we don't know who's really starting it, whether it's the protesters, whether it's undercover cops, whether it's Antifa, whether it's just people from out of town just fucking trying to prove a point and create fucking chaos. And on top of that, we get a bunch of pallets in the same neighborhoods of just clean bricks just chilling. Like, so that shit just looks like a setup. Like, I see what happened, then I see the reaction, and it all looks like a fucking setup, and I don't know what the fuck to believe. Like, I'm pissed off, and it's just like, what the fuck? And then the third thing that goes on, and fucking just is the icing on the cake, is just everybody's reaction. Like, you start to see who sees what. Because first of all, like, he got killed, and it was a couple days before the actual protesting happened. So people were outraged about it and being vocal about it. But then some people didn't say shit to fucking the rioting started. So it's like, what? You were quiet the whole time, and now because personal property is getting damaged and businesses are being burnt and shit, like, now you want to talk? That made me question people's priorities and like what they really value. And I've really just been auditing people, bro. Like, just looking around and seeing who's saying what and who thinks about what and what organizations and even athletes and people that I follow are saying what. I've reached out to a lot of friends and family just to see where their head's at, make sure everybody's good. I spoke to like older people in my family. I spoke to younger people in my family friends, just to see where their perspectives are. I even had like a little family conversation between my immediate family just to see where everybody's at. And that shit is crazy. Like, initially, like, even like my brothers and my sister, I guess, I don't know if they were uninformed, like if they were just misinformed or whatever, but they really felt like the rioting and looting was just like OD. And I kind of get that. Like, at some point it is OD because it's detracting from the actual cause, like what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to protest against. And it makes us look like shit. Like, whoever did that made this whole scandal now look like a scandal instead of a protest. If people would have just went out there and protested peacefully and none of this like chaos happens, I think it makes a great statement, and maybe we can talk about it, but that's not going to detract from the fact that our original problem is police brutality and racism. So like, I wouldn't say G-check, but I had to make sure everybody that I care about is on the same page as me. Because if it was me and you didn't feel a way, then I can't fuck with you, period. I see myself, I'm Dominican, but I'm black. I was raised that I was black, even though I may not be African American. And these people don't give a fuck about us. Plain and simple. If a racist cop, saw me anywhere, They would not ask me if I'm Dominican. They wouldn't even care that I spoke Spanish. They wouldn't give a fuck about what I had to say because they are racist, one, and two, being a cop allows them the authority to say that I fucking did whatever I didn't do and then take my life or put me into a system that's not built for me to ever recover from. They don't give a fuck, and it's set up that way. So if you don't see that and you don't feel that as a colored person, you're troubled. You need to go talk to somebody. Plain and simple. And honestly, that's the only way I can explain it because that's how what's happened to me. I have like, I don't know where to go from here. Like I have some ideas, and we'll talk about that later. But it's mind blowing, bro. It's crazy to see all this shit happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%, bro. Like, I mean, I'm black. I'm African American, so like I have no other option. Like this is who I am. So like for me, first of all, if people don't agree with the fact that police brutality towards black people is a thing, then to me that's just disrespect to me. You like basically what you're saying is if like I put myself in George Floyd's shoes, like basically how you feel about that is how you feel if I was in that situation, if it was me in that situation. So I feel like you like this past week we've just been having to like challenge people that we know, that we love, that we and it's been a lot. Like it's been a lot from people that you haven't spoke to in a while to people that you do speak to often, and you really have to just see where they're at. And I feel like I've unfollowed a lot of people. I've unfollowed a lot of people. Like it's just like this is the reason. And I would just think to myself, this is the reason why we don't talk about politics or religion. Like they say, you're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, and stuff like that amongst in social settings because like they're divisive. It is divisive, and like once I disagree with your point of view, I feel like I can't really associate with you the same way. Like your point of views are, if they're so contrary to what I believe, it's like I can't be associated with you. It's like I'm completely turned off by you as a person. So I've been having to do that. This past week has been crazy though. I mean, this whole year, I feel like as a whole has been ridiculous. Like from like, people passing away to the coronavirus. The coronavirus was put down as like the fourth most important thing this week. Like there's been so many other things going on. You got the police brutality, the riots, Donald Trump, so many other things. Coronavirus is like down here at this point, like, and that's a whole conspiracy theory within itself. Like people questioning if that was even a real thing to begin with. So, but yeah, and I just think I've also realized that like our parents, the older generation, they're not as informed as we are, and they think they are because like years ago when like the internet was just starting to like evolve and become a thing, they would get all their news from the television, and they would think like anything on the internet is not the truth. Like anything that's coming off the TV is a fact. When the TV, like these TV stations, Fox News and stuff like that, they control the narrative and they lie to even if you're on Facebook. Like I honestly feel like if you're not on Twitter, I feel like if you're not on Twitter as a human being in this world in 2020, you don't even have half of the information that's being put out there. Like I feel like that's the only platform where they're really telling you, like, you're getting stuff in real time. You're getting visual, like stuff that they're not going to put on the news, like video, all these like leaked information and documents and stuff like that. Shit like that is on Twitter. It's on Reddit. Like you're not getting that stuff on the news. So I feel like the older generation is really looking at the news as like fact, and like they're living by that, and they're scared of certain things because this is what the news is telling them. But like, I just think like my parents, for example, I just think about my parents and like they just don't really understand what's going on. They're worried about the wrong things, I feel. And I feel like they don't see the bigger picture in the world. And like, it's hard to convince them of that because that's all they've known. The internet is a new thing to them. It's foreign. So they're not going to trust that. like the same way we do. We grew up with this. So,
Right.
but so many like random things that has happened this week. I mean, like they put out uh Kobe's autopsy report.
I seen
I don't
that.
know if you guys like,
I didn't
man,
get a chance to even see that.
wish I didn't see it. Like
Pictures?
the yeah, like information and the pictures of the whole autopsy. Like and like for me, I didn't like I don't want to see that, but like I'm just
I'm
somebody
glad
I
glad
can't
I didn't see that.
exactly once I see it, I can't not I gotta look at it. I have to. And it was just something like I didn't want to see, but like I had to look at it. I just can't help myself. But like shit like that's coming out this week. Like I don't know why that leaked for whatever reason. You got you know, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's Trump supporter and stuff like that. You know, he's donating money to the Trump campaign, stuff like that. People are deleting Facebook. I deleted my Facebook for 2 seconds, but then I got back on because I just had to see what was going on with people because I feel like Facebook is the most like prehistoric like app. Like I feel like they're still living in like 2007 on Facebook. Like they don't know what the fuck is going on. Like
I barely even use Facebook. I'm like,
yeah,
I use it for family related purposes, and I'm like,
yeah, I hop
I
on
won't
like
make a
once in a
status
while.
for
Exactly.
like for my enjoyment. I usually just make a status related to something I actually want the older people to know,
Yeah.
or to hear me say.
Yeah, like it's just like I don't really hop on Facebook, but this week just because there's been so much shit going on, I've just been hopping back and forth on Facebook to see what's going on. And I post stuff and like I just see so much like conflicting like opinions and as far as the riots go, now I don't agree. I don't agree with like chaos and like people destroying property and destroying businesses. I don't agree with that. But at the same time, for me, I understand it. Like for me, it's like no justice, no peace. Like people want to change. So I feel like the people who are focusing on the riots don't understand the bigger issue. The issue is not the riots. That's the effect. Like it's a cause and effect sort of thing. Like that's what happened due to the
in order for things to even get better, it's gonna get worse.
Yep.
Because that's just the way it has to go. Like things have to be tested. People have to get pushed a little bit, to get out their comfort zone. Just like when people were hesitant, because I went to the Newark protest. It was beautiful. There was no riot. There was, when I tell you that everybody was able to like talk and be able to move forward and like honestly also have the ability of being like the whole, oh my God, it was so many streets that were blocked off. So many people. So many resources that they gave that day. But then you have the fact that, I work in media too. So I know the gimmick of how it is. Like the fact that there was the riots in Atlanta, CNN put the wrong headline and put Newark, New Jersey. And it was so chaotic. It was like fire, like people throwing stuff. But you saw an officer that literally said Atlanta police, but you got the Newark, New Jersey headline. And media is a powerful tool when people actually know how to use it. Because when you have instances like this, where media is powerful and you have the people that are behind it that are in control of what they want to be, to what they want to have exposed and what they don't, it's always negative. That's why everybody's quick to say, oh, you guys shouldn't riot. You guys shouldn't loot. If it gets to that, people have to also understand there's anarchists. Anarchists are people who blend in during protests to make it seem like they're about the cause and the matter, but they're not. They just, you know what I'm saying? There's so many anarchists. There's so many people that don't realize that you don't know who you're walking with, and I think that people shouldn't just focus on the negative, because in order for this to change, first of all, the fact that all 50 states protested That's something.
Yeah.
That's something. Which means that now is the time that people have had enough, and this conversation needs to happen with everybody, no matter who you are. It needs to happen. And if you aren't having the conversation, then it says so much more about you than all the other people that are trying to be involved.
It's crazy because,
You know?
like you said, like you have literally 50 states. Like you've never seen that in the past. All
And
50
overseas.
states.
And overseas.
Yeah, and overseas. And it's crazy because, like, you've had the protests that was, like, back in the 60s. Even smaller protests, like, along, you know, the time that has passed. You haven't seen something on a grand scale like this. And for the fact that it's, like, literally this whole George Floyd thing was, like, that was like the last straw on the camel's back. Like that's what broke it. And now you're literally getting pretty much a back pay of every injustice that has gone pretty much unheard. And now it's like, you know what? That's it. You have, of course, you have your people who protest peacefully. And then you have your people who protest with a little bit more force. The Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X type thing, you know? And it's like Malcolm, you said before, it's like you understand both. There's, you know, you want to be peaceful. People don't want to, you know, cause more havoc than what's been going on before. And now it's like, but at the same time, you need to hear what we're saying. We've been peaceful with you before. We've been talking about this for years and no one has heard us to this point. And now it's like, you know what? I don't care whether, you know, I have to put my life on the line or I have to, you know, get thrown in jail. When someone gets to that point, you know they've had enough. And that's what's scary. When someone's at that point where it's like, whatever you do to me, I don't care. You're going to hear what I have to say. And to me, I feel like if you don't understand that, if you can't comprehend how someone can be oppressed and brought down for so many years and still try to continue to be an upholding citizen and still, you know, do good for their country and do right by other people who still treat them like shit. That's something that you should be afraid of because that person has been pushed around for so long and it's like, it could be literally like a drop of a dime. It's going to be a whole 360 and trust me, nobody's going to want that and they're not going to be expecting it.
And you know what's crazy? Like, the whole police force, they're intimidated.
Mm-hmm. And you see
it. You can, listen, someone told me growing up, the angrier you are, the more you reveal about yourself. Like, I think the one incident, like, out of all, like, I've seen so many incidents, and you know, obviously, the one that mainly started it was the George Floyd incident. But even while the protests were going on, like there was the incident, which I'm sure we all saw, where the officers grabbed the girl and the guy out of their car, and they turned their body cameras off.
Mm-hmm.
And they got fired for it because it's like it was so crazy. It honestly made me cry because like. You could tell that they were like pleading to not move. Like their body language said everything. You didn't even have to hear anything that came out of their mouth. You could see their mouth movement. They weren't even trying to say anything, you know. And it's like when the force. What I think is, you know, obviously, excuse me, the issue of racism isn't just falling on the responsibility of you know, police officers. It's the people that teach them these things, that teach them that this is okay, because this is something that hasn't been going on just for a couple weeks. This is something that has been engraved into how society is. Like, this is how
I'm in the middle of something.
You know, like, this is literally how we know how cops are. There's good or there's bad, and there's always that argument of, you know, not all bad cops are we shouldn't only pay attention to bad cops. But it's not like it's a few bad apples anymore. It's too many people. And then now with all these protests, you see people coming out of character with feeling the need to apply so much pressure and so much force on people that aren't even doing anything. Like, there was another video. So many videos I've seen, but like so many disgusting videos, like just the officers walking down, just pushing people as they go. For what? For what?
Mhm.
We're pushing you, huh? We're making you that uncomfortable. I'm glad, because as much as it hurts that we have to go through this pain with our brothers and sisters, and be in these moments, like it's like, yo, like this can't happen no more. It can't, like. And there's so many people that no longer could sit and just put pretty words over it. It's either you're raw about the change you want to see, or you're just gonna sit back and do nothing and then act like you want to do something. But it's like, what do you how can you go to sleep at the end of the day knowing that there's people in your life that you know, there's so many people that we know that are black, so many people that we know that need that, you know? And it's just frustrating. It hurts me, you know, it hurts me that, like, you know, thankfully I've never witnessed or ever been in a position where I've been racially profiled. I only have one time, and it was actually at Middlesex. And it was over financial aid. But like little things like comments that people make that don't realize it's a big deal, but it's a big deal. It may not affect you, but it affects people that are tired of being spoken to and tired of being devalued because of the color of their skin, you know?
Right. Yeah, I feel like America as a whole just had like a blackout moment, like so to speak. Like when somebody's getting bullied, like you go to school every day and you're getting bullied, same kids picking on you, same group of kids is picking on you, and then you take it every day, you getting beat up, they taking your stuff. And then one day you just snap and you just black out and you just firing off on everybody, you swinging, you destroying shit. And like, you know, maybe you lost control a little bit, but like you got to point to the reason that happened. When those kids go to the principal's office, you point to like the reason why that kid blacked out. You don't just say they blacked out and they did this and did that, so like they're getting in trouble and nobody else getting in trouble. You got to hold everybody accountable. What's the reason for that? And I feel like that's where we're at this point. And I feel like this has forced everybody to like pick a side. Like you have to, like you're forcing everybody to pick a side. Like you can't be silent on this anymore. Like George Floyd was the straw that broke the camel's back or whatever the expression is. But like you got to pick a side. Like you got to know where everybody's at. You can't be neutral. If you're neutral, you're a part of the. You're picking a side by being neutral.
It's like you there just sitting and watching the fight.
By not standing up for, just like the police officer who was standing there, the Asian police officer who was standing there just not participating. Like I'm like, yo, like I thought about that guy. You know what I thought about today? I was thinking about that particular officer, and I was like, yo, he's probably like sad, confused, like, you know, just like distraught because he's gonna go to jail, potentially lose his life, honestly, because of a situation that he was inactive in. And I kind of felt sympathy for him for 2 seconds, but then I thought again, like, but he didn't have the same sympathy when he saw somebody getting killed right in front of him, and he had the ability to stop it from happening. So I was thinking, I had sympathy for him for 2 seconds, but then I was like, but why should I feel sympathy for him when he didn't feel sympathy for the situation that was going on right in front of him? Like, he's a whole human being. You're a whole grown person. You're a whole police officer. You could have easily stopped that from happening, and you would be, and everything would be fine. You could go on with your day. But like, you know, shit like that, like when you're inactive, when you're not, you know, sort of addressing the issues or turning a blind eye to it. And there was a situation with the football player Drew Brees, right? And they interviewed him or whatever, and they asked him about the situation. He said that he doesn't agree with anybody disrespecting the flag at any, like, for any reason at all. And I'm like, the flag represents, it was built on colonizers and slavery. Like, this flag, the American flag was built on, exactly. So So for
Just
you to stand with the flag and not stand with the people, it means you support that
Being
notion,
just.
because the flag itself is like, if you really represent America, the quote unquote what the American dream is about the people, it's about the land of opportunity and freedom, then you should be on the side of the people. But because you're on the side of the flag, you choose the flag over the people. You don't agree with what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for when he did that, when he gave up his career.
that's another topic. The
He gave up,
NFL.
exactly. He
Huh.
gave up his
The
whole
NFL is
career
real
for
funny
that.
right now. The
Oh man,
NFL is
they're
real funny right now for issuing that statement. But
Yep.
let's not
racist,
forget,
terrible.
you say that you're about Black Lives Matter, yet you literally got rid of this entire man's career because he kneeled for that same purpose. So what are we gonna do about my boy Kaepernick? Because
So I think they're all in the, like, it's a weird paradox, right? Because we can, is this is what I think about. There's gonna be a lot of people who may have changed their mind now, genuinely, right? But how the fuck
yeah,
are we gonna decipher how they
no.
did? You get me? So like them issuing a statement and stuff like that, cool. I kind of get it, but it's still like I've been moving by this thing. I don't trust you, but thank you. Like that's what I've been
Yep.
going by. Like I don't trust you, but thank you, because
Because it makes you wonder, what are your intentions and why do you care now?
yep,
Mhm.
exactly.
What's the big picture that made you finally get that light bulb switch in your head to say, all right, is it just because everybody else is doing it? Because all I have in my emails is all these companies telling me, we just want to let you know that we're about it. We just want to let you know that we're about it. Great. Let's see some of you white folks from your companies going out there sacrificing yourselves.
I
Let's
think
see that.
I think that's what we have to put the pressure on them with. I think. Well, I
The
don't know if you
posting
mind
about it doesn't matter to me. We
moving
could
into
post.
like my topic on it. Like I think we need to go into like just us, like the people who actually feel the way. Like we can't wait for anybody else to do shit. We have to start making changes within ourselves. And I think we have to start making decisions differently economically, socially, and politically. Like as
Yep.
far as economically goes, stop giving these people your money. Like I don't
Huh.
give a fuck. If they not with you, stop giving them your money. Money's power. They showed us that. Stop paying them. Do some research. Make sure that they're either with the case, with the cause, and make sure they haven't done anything. And I'm sure there's a bunch of resources out now because people have been outing people all week.
Yep.
So do your research before you
Yeah.
spend a dollar. Within that statement, there's going to be a lot of necessities that you're going to need. And maybe like a Walmart is racist and shit, but there ain't nothing else you could get. You're going to have to eat that for a little bit, but we're going to have to figure out alternatives for that. Then
Yeah.
socially, the same thing with that we've been doing, just talking to people. You're going to have to talk to your people, check your circle, check them, make sure you everybody's on the right page, at least around you. And I feel like you're not going to be on the right page about everything, but the main two topics everybody got to be on board with is no more police brutality and no more racism. I think it boils down to that, and it's very simple. It's not about no religion. It's not about capitalism or anything like that. It's like we all that stuff can function without police brutality and racism. Like we don't need none of that to run this country the way it is. This country's fucked up, but we don't need
Yeah.
none of that to run it the way it is. Like that shit is unacceptable. So cutting people off that don't serve you socially has to happen. And then politically, we all got to like start doing research on who it is that we want and what it is that we want as far as policy goes and what kind of actions we want. And the thing is, we have to talk about that and think about it together, because if we start to fucking bicker and nitpick at what we want, nothing's going to happen.
That was like, I was thinking about that earlier too, but like how we're the community right now as a whole that's been coming together to do these protests and, you know, make our voice heard.
Yeah.
It's like your heart is in the right place. I see your motivation. I see your intentions. But at the same time, you're basically trying to have someone outside that community right now you have and show them why you should be heard. What's the reason for it? But at the same time, it's like
Right.
you guys in your own community are doing so many different things. It's not being driven to the point right now. It's confusing to people outside of that community. it's like, okay, I don't know if I should fear for my life because of all these riots and looting and what's going on, or should I be on their side because they're protesting peacefully, or
Right.
they're getting misinformed, and they're not getting the right, how should I say, basically the right idea of what's really
Mm-hmm.
going on. Because right now people think it's, it's just about George Floyd. And there's so many people who have already gotten me upset where it's talking about, oh, it's only about just,
Girl,
like, no, it's
who are
not
you
just
telling?
that. It's about the
Like,
bigger picture. And people fail to
yeah.
realize this has been going on for literally centuries now. You've been having people pretty much dragged from their countries, come here, work for the white man, and you get mad at us because we're here. Don't get mad at us because you wanted to be selfish. You wanted to have someone work for you. Do work that you yourself did not want to do. You do not deserve to have a land here because why? You want to go and bring people here, do the work for you, and then expect, okay, we can just throw them out whenever we can. It doesn't
Yep.
work like that. People are going to be upset. People are going to go crazy. As of right now, the riots are going on. People need a game plan for whatever it is. You need a game plan. White supremacy has always had a game plan, and they've always used their tools and to manipulate everything against us with all their force, all their power, all their resources. What we need to do as a community now is to pretty much use the same tactics. This is not just, some willy-nilly, okay, I'm mad at you, you're mad at me, you don't like me, I don't like you. No, they've been doing it for years, and you need to understand that it's like you have to have some type of strategy, some type of tactic, because you're not just going to go into battle not trained, not armed. That's completely stupid. You're not going to do that because you're going to lose your life. You're not going to have any chance against them. And I feel like it's the same thing with us now. We need to not only inform the people or educate, white people. Yeah, do that too. But also whatever knowledge we have together, share it amongst yourselves. Get the facts right. Get the idea of what you truly want, what you're really aiming for right now, and pinpoint it. If you guys are together and, you form this, I guess you can say, like a knowledge type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a human drill, if you want to picture it like this. Right now, so this whole government, this whole thing we're fighting against is this wall that they've been building for years, and it is sturdy as hell. And right now, you need to form this drill, this weapon you need to get exactly right through that wall. You can't be just knocking here, knocking there. No. To penetrate, you got to go right, hit, and consistently. You can't be here, there. It's not going to work. You need to have a game plan, and that's where I feel that people right now are lacking the communication within themselves, because you have, like I said before, you have so much stuff going on within the community, the riots, looting, the protests. Understand what you want to use as your first weapon, go and use that plan and just move forward with it. Because if the way we're going right now, I can see there's going to be a lot of holes in this wall that we're trying to build.
There's already holes.
And they're just going to use it against us.
And I feel like it's also not enough of the younger generation cares.
Yep.
And I think now it's starting to make people feel more uncomfortable in a good way, because the discomfort that everybody's feeling, they need to feel that discomfort.
Yep.
They need to go to sleep at night feeling uneasy like all these other Black people do, who, like, it always starts with something small,
You shouldn't feel comfortable in this country. Like, you shouldn't feel comfortable in this just because it's not in your face every day. That's why people aren't uncomfortable.
It's around you
all the time, but it's there. It's the underlying thing. This, the system that's in place has been here for centuries. That's why we haven't been able to overthrow it. It's deep ingrained in society. Like, so people should feel uncomfortable with what's going on. I'm gonna let you finish, but I just want to say one thing. If, like, it's crazy because the thing that I notice now is that like you said, like the younger generation doesn't care as much, but like I feel like what has changed since like years ago is that there's people from all walks of life. Like
Yeah.
when people was protesting with you know, back when Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, it was mainly black people. You know, you had your, you know, you had a few Hispanics here and there, you had a few white people here and there, but for the majority it was black people. Today I feel
Right.
like when you see these protests, there's a bunch of Hispanics out there, there's a bunch
Everyone.
of black people, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of white kids, there's everybody. I feel like that's a direct correlation to what um, Martin Luther King did. Honestly, I mean, like he didn't, you know, fix the problem, but he gave us a bridge to more allies to help us with the issue. I feel like, you know, what he was talking about it's manifested in this. Like it's manifested in like there's people from all walks of life. All walks of life. They had people in New Zealand protesting
Yeah.
this shit. Like
My
I
New
saw
favorite
Zealand.
that.
one, my
Mhm.
favorite one was London, when it was so cute hearing their accents. They were like Black Lives Matter. I was just like, oh my god, like they're chanting and they're like Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, and I was like,
Yeah,
wow, like this
yeah.
this is real life right now.
It's
And it
crazy.
made that, out of all the sad things I saw, that made me happy. Like the fact that so many different cultures see that it's a problem and want to say something, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful that like every state is encouraging each other to do those things, and every town, and it's. I think really that was literally one of my favorites because I needed that laugh, and like when I saw the video, it was just like everyone was in sync, and the matter was strong. That matter was super
The matter,
strong.
right?
I'm gonna find the video and show it to you guys later.